Thank you very much for staying with us. The conversation, as I said earlier today, is about the political space and the springing up of, albeit relatively unknown party as far as the results are concerned in Nigeria. That's the African Democratic Congress, ADC, which has now become the bride of some titans, political gladiators in Nigeria, who has found a home in the ADC. Now, that is not just about the fact that some have left their party, resigned officially. David Mark, the interim chairman of that party, resigned his membership of the PDP, on whose platform he became a senator, and then the Senate president twice. Many other persons too have left their parties. The APC, former, BOT member Waziri, resigned membership of the PDP yesterday and crossed to the APC. Well, he has been expelled multiple times from the Osun APC. He is the national secretary, interim national secretary of that party, and many others in that way. So, and Nasir El-Rufai, of course, left the APC, went to the SDP, and now in the ADC, and many of them like that. So, Nigerians are watching. How far can they go? Do they even have the mandate, mandate of Nigeria for this quest of theirs, for their people being fueled, being buoyed by their political career or by their stomach, according to the Minister of the FCT. So are these the people who want to save Nigeria, who want to rescue Nigeria, or they want to rescue their stomach? That was the language they used, at a place over the weekend at Minister Wike. Now, that hasn't come without one of the proponents of the ADC, and the one who even went to, chaired that committee, to recommend and work on the workings of those guys coming to the ADC's former River State Governor, Rotimi Amaechi, who, between Governor Wike and Governor Amaechi, both of them former governors now, it's a case of no love lost between them. And so it has been like that for quite some time. So they had to go to each other. Former minister, by the way, both of them former governors, but one is a serving minister, the other former. That's Mr. Permit me to just stay with Mr. Rotimi Amaechi saying, I don't talk with children. He's my boy. He worked with me and all of those things. And whatever he has amassed, I'm not like that. I have my own thing. And whatever is the issue, whatever wealth I have, that one is not, as big as what Minister Wike has right now. And he was asked, why have you gotten your money? Because you have always been government. Mr. Amaechi said, did you know my wife? He was talking about his wife, and now his wife is a business woman who can sell anything apart from the family, talking about the prowess, the business acumen of the wife. And they say, yes, you can say it. The family has been living on the wealth of the wife, and that is okay for him. And whatever he has become, is not as insinuating corruption on the successors of Mr. Wike. And trust Wike to respond. He responded and saying, what is he saying? And he talked about the wife got contract from the federal government, 4 billion naira, I think from the NDDC every month, and totaling 48 million naira 48 billion naira in a year, because of supply or, training of some women and all of those things. And what is he talking about? He even made allegation that while Rotimi Amaechi was governor, one of, his political allies gave him a Rolls Royce, as a contractor. So that's inducement, that's bribe. So why will you say, and even if Minister Rotimi Amaechi says he's using the Rolls Royce because he said, Mr. Amaechi said, I have a Rolls Royce, I don't even use it. So where did he get the Rolls Royce? It was given to you by a contractor. And while you are still in office, so that's inducement. You are not supposed to have anything from somebody running a contract with the state government. And so it's been back and forth and allegations upon allegations. And in the, within that period, a publisher, a journalist of repute, Dele Momodu, was mentioned as well. And by the way, there was a time that Dele Momodu was close with the Minister Wike, and in which he has had a go at the Wike himself. Wike had a go at him again to say, who is he talking about? somebody that stay with me, spend months with me, cannot even conduct himself well at the table. That's somebody, if I call him a boy, and all of those things, and Mr. Momodu has responded and say, but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should better be careful about Wike. It's not somebody to be empowered. And all this is coming, Nigerians, because of these ADC thing. All of a sudden, previous feud, have been reignited. And here we are. And Nigerians are saying, are these the characters of the people telling us to belong to their government or to support their party, or this is what you do, and this is what they do, amassing wealth, or are being alleged to be having undue advantage while they are in power? And we look into this today and other issues about the ADC. We have a public affairs analyst joining us in the studio today, Comrade Lanre Fadahunsi. Thank you, Comrade. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
me. Yeah, thank you. But quite a lengthy one, but we just have to put it there. And by the way, whatever has been happening between these three gentlemen and others, that intro didn't even scratch it at the face. Many more to that, but because we just have to move ahead. Are you surprised that these persons are having go at themselves? And is there a villain? Is there a hero? Is there somebody good? Is somebody not good among them? Or it's just politicians doing whatever they know how to do best, especially whenever they are not lying on the same bed?
Thank you very much for having me. And I'm glad, for one, that by the time you place the response of these three gladiators, let's say, beside each other, you realize that the language of Dele Momodu was measured. The address of Dele Momodu was direct to the president. He was not even trading words with Wike like that.
Yeah.
Because there is a situation your former ally gets to that you realize there is need for psychological analysis of the current status of that person. He was talking about spirits in parentheses, that might have taken over the soul of a man to give response. Because if you look at the antecedents of, don't talk even about Wike as a minister to President Tinubu. Talk about Wike as a governor in a state where you have been part of a local government system, of the state government executive, not elected, and you come talking at a public gathering to a traditional ruler. He's a small boy, you remember, because the internet does not forget all of these things.
Yeah.
Since then, I have profiled someone.
That traditional council meeting held at the State House.
And you were talking to a king in the presence of his colleagues. So that time you would have known that something probably must have snapped at some point that has made someone maybe power, drunk, or high on something, on a substance, to be addressing. There is decorum in leadership. You use language chosenly. But when somebody has thrown all of that away, you don't engage in conversation or discussions with such people. On live television, most of the things he had said about even those who made him governor, you will know whatever he's doing now, he will do worse. That was why Dele Momodu was telling President Tinubu directly that, look, whatever you think is the traction you can get from this personality, he will embarrass you. It's not as if he was talking, he didn't even have to discuss with Wike anymore. But if you are thinking there is capital incapacity of this person, I can honestly tell you, because I know him well, he will do worse. Hello, do you respect somebody that said who made him governor, put his picture in his toilet because you built a house for him, for God's loving sake? These are things you do for your leader that you don't even want people to know about. Are you talking about that? So it is not even about talking about Amaechi. He wants to be the one doing the job of the likes of Larry Olayinka. If you know the antecedents of the person working with him, you wonder, Larry Olayinka could abuse a grandfather of the nation for Fayose in those days.
Well, he was the image maker. That's
fine. Whatever image he wants to present, but that is the kind of thing that Wike now wants to push himself to be doing. At some point, it doesn't matter your age because he's a young man. I can say that. I'm older than him. He's a young man that you gauge your attitude, your reactions to people. How can a Wike say all of those things about Odili that we all have videos of when the wife of Jonathan took you to Odili to accept to support you against Amaechi to be governor? Hello. So to me, I think the best perception of report to president from Dele Momodu is what I think I stand with. Now for Amaechi, they know each other. Amaechi said this
they
was
know
his
each
boy.
other.
Yes. He molded his form. And he made a mistake most people make by making him leader. The Wike that is referring to records, I begin to wonder what has happened to EFCC records about Fubara. EFCC was looking for Fubara during the campaign. Yeah. And Wike shielded him because he knew everything they were looking for Fubara about was with him. Basically. And you are not talking about 40 billion per year. You are talking about something in the excess of trillions. If you are talking 500 billion for one individual and one thing, the 200 billion about another, you want Fubara to explain. And when Fubara became governor, Fubara had immunity you were not supposed to have. Making you FCT minister, probably that is granting him immunity again that EFCC does not now see that Wike was a profiled person. But the Nigeria we have gotten into now is the one that we saw where the DSS and the EFCC were fighting over EFCC files of profiled individuals, and majority of them are in government now. So it's a time that the nation must really sit back and say, have we accepted to be led by those who have kept a siege upon the nation economically?
Now, you have identified Minister Wike, possibly his conduct and his style. Many persons will say, maybe you can't really separate somebody from his style, and, it's quite, aggressive sometimes. And he will say, if you don't come for me, I won't come for you. It was because they came for him. Now, you have identified Minister Wike and some of his antecedents and some of the things he has said, that it's not supposed to be the conduct of a public officer, especially somebody that has been in the corridor of power, that's supposed to have that poise and panache, But one will say that's his own style. But does that exonerate whatever has been said of former Minister Amaechi himself, and some of the allegations made by Mr. Wike to say, what are you? You are saying you are not elite, you are not corrupt, and then you don't have houses scattered everywhere like myself. In fact, Mr. Wike had to say, he came from a rich background, that's his words, by the way, and his father was this, and that. He didn't come.
Have you read Odin Kalu?
Hold on, sir. And then that he can't really identify, he can't really relate with the background of Amaechi if he's coming from a poor place. His father was a well-to-do man, and in in those days, so he implied that he has always has wealth. So he said yes, he has a Rolls Royce, and so can Amaechi say the same? Because he got his, Amaechi was given his own, and shouldn't that be proved as well if actually that was true? Or talked about to say, how can you receive a gift? That is an allegation, by the way. If that is true, how can you receive a gift while you are serving as a governor from a contractor, having a contract with you? And he said, ask the wife was getting 4 billion naira, every month. Until now, Minister Amaechi hasn't responded to that. Is he only wicked as a quote-unquote bad person in this triangle?
No.
Because it seems Wike now is the one getting the bricks and the bat. How about others?
And
just like you said they know themselves.
Yes.
They do.
They do know themselves. And that's why it's not enough for anyone to join in the fray of what they have done, They're to each other. And it will be good for the nation to know it all. There were issues about 2 aircrafts belonging to Rivers State in the days of Rotimi Amaechi. Wike has not spoken about that.
It was taken to Germany.
Good. Wike has not spoken about that. Maybe somebody has gotten that back and does not feel it should be counted as part of the estate of Rivers State. I'm only saying that they know themselves, they know what they did, and it's unfortunate the loss that the Rivers State people must have suffered. But you see, when the pot calls the kettle black, you begin to wonder which is worse. Because Amaechi is no longer in power, and a gift of Rolls Royce is as bad as the wristwatch received by Professor Tam David West, which he was indicted for wristwatch because he was oil minister then. So it makes it even worse that you could get a Rolls Royce, but a whole lot of them do get that. And at the right time, when the reset mood of Nigeria comes, all of these people will explain their wealth because they have forgotten that since banking system became digital in Nigeria, every record of where you got what from is traceable. So it's like the government successively have refused to do that. You need a government that will say the truth about it. Truth and reconciliation. Hello, we have traced 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10. We are not taking you to court. Just drop. You understand? Wait, Nigeria, you said well. You said well.
We will ever get to that era, ever.
I said reset mode. It comes in different ways. A change of guard, a change of leadership that will be pattern and say, this is me, naked I stand. Oh yeah, take off your clothes.
That's a conversation that we'll have in other days, because the process of emergence of such, a radical person will be quite a difficult one. Because you can only pro some of those things if actually you yourself,
you are clean.
Your cupboard is clean.
It's not that all Nigerians are very dirty.
How is such a person emerge?
All Nigerians are not dirty.
Of course, we are not.
Nigerians have not stolen the wealth of the nation to be able to counter them.
All right.
That is what is causing it. All this conversation.
Hold on, sir. Staying with that matter, when Minister Wike was having a go at Dele Momodu, the publisher of Ovation, and, somebody who has been done well for himself by his own standard, by the way, especially in publishing and journalism. He described Dele Momodu as a boy, saying he does not even know his name. That he does not remember the name of Dele Momodu, some would say one of the most popular journalists in the country. And he said, there is this boy. That was his statement. There is this boy. They say he's a journalist. What's his name? He's big. These are the kind of words. On the Night TV, by the way. When the journalist said Dele Momodu, he said, okay, I don't remember all these names. He was never my friend. He ran for president, but didn't get one vote. That was what Minister Wike said about the Dele Momodu. And then, Dele Momodu has responded when on that same program, where he now spoke about other things as well. And he went far back as the 2023 elections, when delegates were being chosen and, the primary was being run. And he said that 30,000 naira was what $30,000, I beg your pardon, $30,000 per delegate was what Minister Wike spent during the People's Democratic Party 2022 presidential primaries. And he said, in fact, it took a former Nigerian president, because he too had an ambition at that time. It took a former Nigerian president to warn him not to contest the primary, citing the amount of money that Wike was offering the delegate. He can't match such. Let me quote Dele Momodu. He said, a former president of Nigeria sent someone to tell me not to waste my money on the PDP 2022 primaries because Wike had raised the stakes to $30,000 per delegate. 30,000 multiplied by 774 delegates. What I expected of him was that if you weren't going to support a man, if you are going to run a fair race, and let's leave it there. And he said, when a man who had been a nobody gets power, it begins to change slowly and steadily. The oppressed man respect only one man, the oppressor. Wike used to respect the only one man, Rotimi Amaechi. Wike is consumed by the power he holds. The spirit of power and money is demonic when not managed properly. And he went personal when he said he drinks early in the morning. He introduced me to Akeshi, a strong alcohol, saying it helps him function. This is someone in public office. My appeal to President Bola Tinubu is that no matter what you're expecting to gain from Wike in 2027, Wike is not the kind of character you should promote. He's not the kind of a young man who should hijack our common party. These were one.
Yeah. Now, you know, I said it that he was not really addressing. You can imagine somebody under 60 calling a 65-year-old person a boy.
A boy.
So he's indecorous.
Dele Momodu celebrated 60th during the COVID. So he did an online birthday, I can remember.
No, that's
so
number
65
one.
Now, yeah.
That's number one. Then number two, somebody you claimed you did not even remember came out with pictures of when you needed a soft landing in media space.
Yeah.
You invited him. That was when they became friends.
Yeah.
That was when he tried to change.
They had programs together.
To polish him. He said it and presented a picture of him sitting with Wike with a bag that I brought that you can take more exotic drinks than what you are, because this one can destroy you. Yeah. Do you get the drift? So I know this person, and his person has been taken over by a spirit. Mr. President, be conscious. Whatever traction.
Well, spirits could mean alcohol, strong drink, isn't it? Yeah. Because you talked about drinks.
That's what I said.
Drinks, these allegations. But when you see these men speak this way, now that's the issue for many Nigerians, because Nigerians will say we are not interested in whatever.
There's one basic thing that I understand.
But why do they rub off each other in this way? Is this the best of us?
It is the best for us, not of us.
So what's the difference between it?
It is the best for us, but not of us, so that we can pick the best of us against the worst of us. Best for us because if they are not fighting dirty, you cannot see what.
You mean the occasion is best?
Yes, because we cannot see the things they have done to us as a nation. And I'm right. I didn't write that way. That if indeed the EFCC wants to tell us the profile of everyone, they just go back to pre-digitalization of banking system in Nigeria.
Many persons will say they can speak to each or all of these persons, and whatever they need on each person will be given to them, if actually they are willing
to get it.
Yeah,
that's the point. So whilst they are busy breakbatting and washing their dirty linen in public,
right,
people are taking note.
People have always been taking note.
Serap keep going to court against
talk
them.
About has been a serious sewer.
You don't get the drift of what I'm saying.
Somebody made a joke one day and said Serap should just get a resident, beside a court, because they have always been suing. Nothing comes out.
You don't get it.
Let me get
nothing will come out.
Tell me.
Because of the corrupt leadership we have had over time, that has not allowed the judiciary, please be on your own, do your job. How do you feel? Do you feel proud? Professor Nyesom Wike is in about close 80. Wrote about, my Lord, where do I place your bribe? A poem. Because it was obvious judges are collecting it. So not all. Do you get the drift?
Of course.
But if that is the
case, we can't sweep the whole institution with a broom. Yeah.
But if that is now the situation we found ourselves, that leadership has been so endemic in corruption, we need that to change first. It's either those in position of leadership having a change of heart, you understand, and turning good, or the system itself throws away the bunch and then picks the right people. Let me tell you this, that there is a problem with Africa presently. I had a friend that traveled from Accra by road recently, just last week, and he said on getting to Togo, on the streets of Togo, there was high tension. You see, what is catching on in French, in Francophone, West Africa, is because of that young 34-year-old man that says, look, I don't need wealth. My income is enough. You are taking too much, I will reduce. You are giving so less to workers, I will increase. You get. So that drift is telling people that you can have leadership that can lead by example. Right. Our leaders have not been doing that. And that is what they are doing and showing Nigerians now. You stole, I stole. You stole more. I didn't steal too much. You understand? Do you realize that there are
corrupt? I'm not as corrupt as
him. My Mercedes is bigger than yours. Since that, those were in the 60s, I think, that T.M. Aluko wrote that book. My Mercedes is bigger than yours. You get? So
he has corruption. Rolls Royce. I can't even use it.
You see, now we have gone to that sorry state. We should know there is need for an emergency change of situation.
So we are due for a break right now. When we'll come back, we'll now speak to the political dimension of this, because many persons will say this is about the ADC thing that has brought them. So what, as far as many APC members and, the party has dispelled, discountenanced them to say, the president even said, those coalition guys, they're IDPs. And you call them internally displaced politicians.
Yes, no expression.
But then another school of thought is, if they don't matter, why do you people keep talking about them? These are the issues we'll look into. And if the ADC has the mandate of the people, and which people, who send them, who are they, what message are they giving, are they bringing? Or as Mr. Wike said, they are only rescuing their stomach. We'll look into that after that. Thank you for staying with us on Morning Spring. The conversation has been about the war of words between Minister Wike, former minister, given favors where you are, or you are not within the fold. You just think you need to just be in power. You're saying you want to rescue. That's number one. Number two, what Mr. Wike said over the weekend in Abuja is, you want to rescue Nigeria. At the Thanksgiving service. In fact, he said, is he somebody that when he was a minister, to get a passport, you might spend years to get a Nigerian passport. And all of a sudden, a young man, in his words, is there right now, Bumitunji Ojo, who in weeks you can get your passport. What has he done? He said they are not rescuing Nigeria. They're only rescuing their stomach. What do you say to that?
It here. Categorically, that Wike has not been deep enough in assessing issues. Do you know why?
Where's the lie?
Let me tell you.
The goal he had at Arabeshala, where's the lie?
Whatever any one of those people will have to do in ADC now is to go to their war chest, what they have probably taken over the years, and spend. There is nothing APC can offer them in the present. Yes, if it gels for them at the end of the day. But now it's an investment that they have to spend money on. You have to come to the table as former Governor Aregbesola, former Minister Aregbesola, and drop money for followers to attend meetings, for you to gather people. You get. So they need president to attend meetings with Asiwaju of AD or AC and then with CPC Buhari, and Jonathan couldn't use the force of authority to dismantle them or push the wealth of state to dislodge them. That was why they could gather and remove him. In Oyo State, they did not do it like that, but an accord candidate, alongside the candidate of some other parties, came around to say, we are picking Seyi Makinde to drive this governorship election. So coalitions that, but you must belong to a party. So all of them might all be in ADC and decide AA is what all of us will now support his candidate because they have chosen somebody who we all know is not like us. That will win the day, but they all need to leave the current vehicle they are in. Some live in PDP, others live in APC, some others even live in Labour Party. Do you get the drift? But the thing that will work for Nigerians is that the right person. Look at what the...
Because Nigerians are pointing at some of them to say, you are being part of the... Nigerians are pointing at some of them to say, you are being part of these so-called rot. Did everything just get bad in 2 years? Even,
it got worse in 2 years.
Yeah, that's it. You have been part of it. For Amaechi has been in the corridor of power since 1999. This is the only 2 years that he has not been in power. Arabeshala has been commissioner for 8 years. He left that place, came to Osun for 8 years, and then he became minister for, for 4 years. And Atiku Abubakar has perpetually been at the corridor, either in power or out of power. These are some of the issues we are seeing. Babachi Lawa was SGF. For God's sake, Malam El-Rufai was at the BP, and then he became a minister, a governor, and, for 8 years. He even presented himself at the Senate before he was denied. So, who had they rescued Nigeria from? That's the question. Do you have an idea? Or what are they rescuing Nigeria from?
From the timing the elections of 2027.
And do you think this is? The ADC is?
The People's Party, the People's Political Party that is not registered with INEC, that will now say this particular party, this particular political vehicle has picked our kind of leader that will look into the rotten NNPC, that will not influence any result there, that will look at what we have seen now, that some young men are saying, look, you put your son-in-law in a place and he has messed it up in a few years, we want him probed, you get. So all of such things, you cannot tell me that a Wike has done well for even Asiwaju, attacking Amaechi and all the rest of the world, when, as a matter of fact, it is proven that the son of Mr. President is the director of one of the companies that got a job from the nation that was not put on public bid. Do you get? Aberrations all the way, and Nigerians look away and say, well, if you just do it well, and somebody is now saying, and you are doing this, he himself, you recall, was told that, look, you got all the lands you seized from people and put your son's name and say, my son has Nyesom Wike. How old is your son? To own properties, he has a right of, where did your son get paid?
But doesn't he have a right?
He has a right.
Children.
But he has a right to also prove where he got his wealth. Why are you chasing Yahoo boys all over the place? Because you felt, how can you have 200 million in your account? What have you done to earn it? So you can chase Yahoo boys. You cannot chase a minister's son because he's a minister's son. Because he was a former governor's son, he should be a billionaire. Because he was a former president's son, he should be a billionaire. When there was fuel scarcity, the former president's son was riding a power bike to race and had an accident, and people were just jittery and say, hey, may he not die, when his friend died. All this nonsense should end. We can't continue like this. It's not going to work. It's not going to grow the nation. And people must be saying truth to those who have messed us up. If they come around, I'll keep repeating it. A villain can become a saint.
How so?
Yeah. We have seen pastors who were armed robbers. We have seen drug addicts who are giving reformation to people from a point of experience. If I can leave drugs, you can too.
And restitution.
Some go to jail for what they have done. And R. Kelly, singer and all, you can even think, oh, for all this guy has done beautifully in people's lives, maybe he should be forgiven. You go to jail, but get reformed coming out.
Yeah.
So after serving this time, he can now go into ministry of talking to people. This is what I've gone through. I went into.
But do you think these people now, this caliber of people in the ADC, former ministers, former governors, former vice president, former this and that, people who have benefited from the system until, recently, do you think, when APC came in 2015, there are people who thought whatever the promise of APC was, it was genuine. They sold it to people.
I'll tell you the truth.
Now, hold on, sir. They sold it to the people, and people believe, until now, many persons believed Nigeria was saved by the APC because the PDP became rudderless, and they were not knowing what to do again. They were, bombs were going off everywhere, although there are issues. If you understand my question.
I will now tell you how they can. All that time that you're talking about.
Knowing fully well, there was a merger. These ones couldn't pull a merger. Just individuals who have come together. No party has assumed into the ADC.
I'll tell you pointedly now that when Saraki was Senate president, he was sitting with them, Bodilon and all over the place, to birth APC. Saraki was not a saint. It was obvious to people. And a whole lot of them in that gathering. Ashiwaju was there, my former ministers and the rest of them, to form a formidable force. The Aregbesolas of this world were there. They pulled crowds from Osun to join at the rallies and gatherings of that coalition. But that's the pull. But then the public trust can be there. Looking for Mr. President, we as Nigeria is searching as a nation. And then whoever presents the kind of person resonating, look at it this way. Majority of them.
So you are saying the antecedent of these persons doesn't matter, and Nigerians should not look into that?
The antecedent does not. Who is in the driver's seat? His lifestyle is, look at it this way.
Because Nigerians are saying we are used to this language, we are used to this rhetoric of, oh,
have you observed something?
PDP were the bad ones, then APC came in, then APC blamed PDP, and all of a sudden there is, within the same APC have been blaming some APC people. So it was Tinubu, Buhari who got us here. I know Tinubu didn't know about it. He's now the one. Now, if actually after 4 years, or if Nigerians choose to renew his mandate, you will still hear some people blaming other people. So why should Nigerians trust them? Because the fear is 2027 is almost here. And many persons are saying there might be real voter apathy because many of them are tired.
No, the difference is that the political class still thinks they are working on just that 30% that gave the 2023 shoddy election result. No. There are 70% of the voting population that did not take part in the charade then. They are getting more interested now. They are more interested in, okay, is it the voters card? We will get it when it's time. Is it? You understand? And so when you put 70 across against 30, I said it before that even all of them, forget about the defections to APC, that if all the political class go into APC, that's a whole 30%, the 70 will rise up and speak now. Because I have looked at it. If you want to join somebody, you look at what that person has done for you. And again, Yoruba said, you are not now wearing the apparels we are wearing. The people cannot be in tatters and rags, and you are in opulence and wealth, and you are telling them to take it easy, tighten their belt. They can't trust you. They will not. Now, look at it this way. Of all these so-called gladiators, political class, people looking for contracts and for political positions and joining ADC, have they been addressing the painful issues against Nigeria? Of all of the former candidates, the prospective candidates, how many have been pointedly speaking truth to power? That look, you know those stealing this oil. You know those stealing oil money. Your refinery, some are talking even now. Some are docile and silent and only concerned about let's gang up. You must go beyond gang up and embed the trust of the Nigerian people so that they can trust you as a leader. You can imagine somebody saying, look, whatever it's worth, it's south we go, and it will be corruption on our side if our conventions are thwarted. Even if I want to be president as a southerner, I can't ask for more than 4 years. Almost immediately, Amaechi also picked up the song. Yeah. You understand? Let all southerners who want to contest.
That's Peter Obi's proposal.
And then as Amaechi...
Although many persons say maybe he's being clever by half.
No. It's like when you have a...
And that signals desperation. You don't think that's desperation or no peace?
I will tell you something.
Anything to say. Just
how many of them? Wait a minute. That's why I said people should copyright. Even if he's not going to be president. Peter Obi said, I will never aspire after now to be president of Nigeria again because I'm still in my 60s. If you add another 4 years, by the time you get to 2030, I would have been too old to deliver for Nigeria. How many of the 78-year-olds can say that? That he will never aspire again because by that time, he would be getting old and not as active as he is now to deliver. And we have seen that happen. We have seen our presidents on medical trips and all, you know, the number of times. times PMB traveled out for medicals. And so that will not, when you have a hands-on assignment and you are not able to deliver. I have said it before at different movement meetings, not even before the birth of the so-called Labour Party movement under Bobi and the rest of them, that I was too old when I was in my 50s, to be the president of Nigeria. But that, unfortunately, that is where we found ourselves. Oh. Do you know since when the Awolowos of this world have been in the governance process? 30s. They were in their 30s. Go and read it. And now 30 was about the oldest, about 39.
Yeah.
When they were calling for independence of Nigeria and running Nigeria. So what have we done? Do you know there are undergraduates who are calling themselves youths at 40 now? They have graduated university 10 years ago. They have never worked for one day. They have been going, they're still job searching. And there's no government that sits down to say we must have a program for these people.
For them. Right. So now,
you understand? So
we must run.
Definitely we need that change. And joy is coming.
Well, when? How? Who is bringing it up?
The siege will be over.
You are making another prophecy.
I'm
how will that happen?
You see, there's one thing where you see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the move and the waves is that the waiting game is on Nigeria to wake up. That's the waiting game.
How should Nigerians approach this ADC? I take that as your party.
Nigerians,
with everybody that is trooping in there now.
APC from the angle of the ADC, speaking truth to the people, actually washing themselves and saying sorry as due.
Apology does it?
Apology is the first stage of truth and reconciliation. Do you know it worked a lot for them in South Africa and doused the tension?
The context is different.
No, whatever the context is situational. People are angry. People were angry there. People have been cheated. They have been mistreated. That has been the same thing here. And so when you come with superior argument that, look, we know you were a tenant in 1999 that could not pay rent. How could you be a billionaire without a factory?
So if they apologize, what happened to whatever they have amassed?
I've told you before. Do you know that unfortunately we are not asking for a coup in Nigeria at all?
No, we shouldn't.
But if we ask for a referendum in Nigeria, we should tell the political class Nigerians will opt for the military. Pointedly go and push it as politicians that let's have a referendum in Nigeria today. That do we like politicians or we want the military back? They will conveniently vote the civilians out.
Some will say maybe the younger ones who didn't know what happened under the military.
They don't have to know. What have they known? What have they known?
That those who knew the heydays of the military will never support that.
The military that we are talking about, in the little times they spent, ensured refineries were working, produced refineries for us. In the 26 years of civilian administration, unbroken democracy, we have not had one. An individual could from start to finish. You don't have governance happening.
But there are the flip side as well.
No, what happened to people? Let me tell you, we were around.
I'm sure the Kensaro Wiwas of this world, their families would never want the military to come.
Do you know that
that's just one out of many?
Political.
The Dele Giwas would never.
Do you know that it is political? What we are facing now? That there was a war where millions of missiles were thrown at Israel, the same to Iran, and Israel counted about 30 casualties that were human casualties. We are counting thousands and we are not at war. Is that governance? Do you get the drift? A military man told us that if there is insurgency, and Abacha said if there is insurgency that lasts for a short time, then the government was involved. Would we say it was a lie?
Yeah.
But you must give. I just listened. I read it somewhere yesterday that President Tinubu said he's giving direct order to military. That is what has been missing.
And Nigerians are saying there should be consequences as well. If the CEC gives you an order and you didn't do it, you are not able to deliver, you should go.
He has given the order now.
So it's not just by giving order.
Direct order, there is a protocol to it. If he's giving it verbally, he should give it in writing and all.
Okay, all right.
So that those people can move.
All right.
Because you begin to wonder, people who kill, we are trying to make them born again. I don't get it.
If I may put this as, me, to say this emergence of the ADC, will it have a positive effect on government? I mean, the people in power, the APC, to say maybe that will turn out implicitly for Nigerians to say, let's do better. Let's juggle our policy. Let's make our house better. We can't just throw anything at Nigerians again because they have an option now. And the PDP as well will say, you know what? Before we become extinct, let's put our house in order. Is there any positive to it?
The greatest positive is for APC, that is at the federal level, to not wait to close the election and start making life better for people. We have 2 years of 360 degrees turnaround. Jonathan went back on the oil subsidy thing when the June 12 crisis and all were at the Ojota, the Wasu, singing and people serving rice. Some people funded the rice. And you see, the truth is the APC can now sit back and say whatever it's worth. And I have said it before that President Tinubu should forget about the second term and do right for Nigerians, and he will get a second term. Do you know why? Let there be food, cheaper, open the borders, forget about those whose ox will be God by it. That is the only way you can know the true value of what is being done.
All right.
The billions were given to people to plant rice in Buhari days.
Uncle Boras.
They did not do jack. They just took the money. Billions.
And then I want to say thank you. You have on your screen, the minister, Wike there, who has been, commissioning project. I think this was maybe the latest when it was, you could see the vice president sitting, the SGF was at the other side. And when the minister was called to come and make a speech, of course, his singers were there. And when he got up, that was the first thing he did. And you could see everybody being amused, possibly just one joyful man. What do I know? What?
Clownish.
That's your word. Comrade Lanre Fadahunsi.
We are wearing the same hat, so I don't dance like that.
Well, maybe you don't know how to, but he knows how to. Thank you very much. Femi Ojo is my name. I want to sincerely thank everyone for being part of this program. And, the production team and everyone. Nigeria must work. Whatever the party, ADC, APC, LP, PDP, and all the P's and the C's, it's all about this Nigerian project. And it must work. Nigerians should shine their eye. Do things, make better decisions. You can't abandon the Nigerian project right now. You can't be tired about your own property. Nigeria is ours. Everybody has a stake. Thank you for staying with us. And I leave my parting share to be, one of those lyrics of a famous hymn saying, we'll be remembered by what we have done, like a flower that, shines during the day and withers later. Everybody has a legacy. Life is transient. Make it count. Good morning.